What's good, YouTube? This is BoxingWave, and we are back with another prediction video. This weekend, Gervonta Tank Davis is going to be defending his WBA World Lightweight title against Romero. All right, the fight is going to be on Showtime pay-per-view at 9 p.m. Eastern Saturday evening. I will be doing live commentary for the fight, so I will be here earlier that evening, probably around 7:30 p.m. to cover the fight. I'll jump on early like I normally do. We'll talk boxing, and then we'll go straight into live commentary for the fight. I won't be showing any footage of the fight. Just gonna do live commentary like I normally do. So make sure you be here this Saturday night. All right. So look, let's go through this fight real quick. It's gonna be a quick prediction video. Tank is coming off of a win against Isaac Cruz. All right, and Romero's coming off of a win against Anthony Yigit. Tank is 26-0 with 24 knockouts. All right, high KO ratio. Right, one of the highest KO ratio in this sport, and huge gap in experience between the two. All right, Tank has fought some fighters that I believe are already above the level of Romero. He's been in there with Jose Pedraza. He's been in there with Isaac Cruz. He's been in there with Mario Barrios, all right, at 140. And he's been in there also with Leo Santa Cruz. We cannot forget that. Tank has a better resume overall. His experience is greater. He's just overall better as far as on paper. All right, Romero, 14-0, 12 knockouts, like I said, but hasn't fought any elite fighters yet. The best fighter he's fought up to this point was probably in his last fight against Anthony Yigit, all right? He did have a tough scrap against Jackson Marinas, all right? Sorry about that. Jackson Marinas, a couple fights back, a fight that a lot of people felt that Rolly didn't really win the fight. They felt that the fight could have been a robbery. It was a very close fight. I thought it kind of could have gone either way, but I can see why a lot of people feel that Marinas won the fight. All right, so going into this fight here, look, it's not going to be a long breakdown because I personally believe that this fight is a mismatch, okay? Not just because of the resumes of the two, but because of Tank Davis's ability. I think Rolly is still a work in progress. I know a lot of these guys that's at that age haven't hit their prime. You got a lot of young guys at lightweight right now. You got the Devin Haney's, the George Cambosos. You have Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia. I know you got a lot of these guys down there, but I feel that Rolly Romero, the reason why he's here is because of the politics, the PBC, the Mayweather promotions, his alignment with Floyd Mayweather. They're both Mayweather fighters. And just because he has a big mouth. He knows how to talk himself into a fight like this one. He does a lot of talking. He's sparred with a lot of these guys at the division. He knows he has history with these guys. But he's still a work in progress. I was doing some film study of him the last couple of days. And I just don't see where he... I can't find an angle of where I can see him beating Tank Davis. And I didn't check the betting odds and anything like that, but I just think that Tank is just levels above him. And I also believe that guys like Mario Barrios, Isaac Cruz, Leo Santa Cruz, Jose Pedraza, I think these guys are better than Rolly. I mean, at the very least, or at the very most, Rolly is probably the fifth best fighter that Tank has fought up to this point. And I know a lot of people, I know Isaac Cruz was a replacement fighter for Rolly when Rolly had to pull out of the fight the last time. But Isaac Cruz is a better fight after watching that fight. Isaac Cruz to me is a better fighter. And Isaac Cruz to me would beat Rolly Romero, But Rolly has a big mouth, and people are going to tune in because he likes to talk a lot. And I think that's part of the reason why. Now, as far as what he can do in the ring, he's pretty explosive. Yes, he has power. All right, he has solid hand speed. I think he's awkward. And when I say he's awkward, and I've said this in the past, when I say that Rolly is awkward, it's just that it's really mainly because he throws punches from angles where he's totally unbalanced or off balance. And I think it could be an advantage at times because you might not see certain punches coming, but it's like a mistake that was never really corrected. And that's what I mean by like him being a work in progress because, you know, when I was watching the Anthony Yiga fight, and I specifically watched that fight because Yiga is a southpaw just like Tank, but Yiga is not Tank in any means at all. The only thing they have in common really is the fact that they're both southpaws. Yiga doesn't have the speed, the explosiveness, the power of Tank. He doesn't even have the IQ. But he moves well. He can box well. All right. But he didn't have anything. He only had one gear, and he didn't have anything that was much of a threat for Rolly Romero. But as I watched that fight, if you look at the fight and you notice that Yiga at times would step around Rolly Romero. Rolly is not great with foot places. Like he can pivot and move and follow his opponents at times when they step around him, but he's not consistent with it. It's not like really natural. Like it looks like something he's still working on. Like he can do good things. Like he's good at head control, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like fully natural with him yet, and I think he could get there at some point. But from what I've seen, it looks like he's not good at keeping that lead foot on the outside of his opponent's foot. Like when he's throwing punches, he throws punches while his foot is on the inside. So when he's throwing straight left hands, if his opponent is not on the line, he'll shift his whole body to try to land that punch, and it leaves him off balance often. So if he is to face a fighter that counters him and connects with a good shot, he can fall even if it's not that powerful. I can see him falling just straight from being off balance. Another thing is too, when guys like Giggit was able to step around him, he won't pivot and follow his opponent. It's kind of like he'll still try to throw a left hand if Yiga is moving to his left. And again, it's like he's throwing a punch while he's off balance. And I think the reason why he still does it, because I feel like it never was really corrected, and he can connect at times, but it looks awkward and he has to shift his body in a really awkward way. And I think because of this, I think he's going to get dropped in this fight. And against future opponents as well, I just feel that he hasn't fought a level of an opponent that could really exploit some of his defensive flaws. He doesn't move his head much. He doesn't really set up shots with his jab. He doesn't really change levels. He doesn't feint much. He just really isn't that technically sound. I think he's more of a brawler or even like a street fighter at times, And I think, when I watched him in the past, I felt that the moment he stepped up to fight a really good fighter, I didn't know who it would be, but the very moment that he stepped up to fight someone real, I thought his whole, his flaws was going to get exposed. And I think they're going to get exposed with this fight. Tank is way too advanced for a guy like Rolly. And if you take a look at just like maybe, we don't got to go through all of his fights, but if you look at the Mario Barrios fight, for example, when it comes to styles, I felt like Barrios had way more advantages that Rolly Romero has going into this fight. Mario was taller, pretty durable, tough guy, knew how to use the jab, you know what I'm saying? Knew how to establish the jab and knew how to fight on his back foot. Even when Tank started to really pressure him, he knew how to fight well on the back foot, knew how to take quick step backs and counter Tank at times, and set traps for Tank. He knew what he was doing. He knew how to control distance. Like, he understands it. I don't feel like Rolly really understands that yet, at least not at this stage in his career. And I honestly think, I don't like to push for people to change trainers like that, but I just don't feel like his coach is really correcting these issues, these feet issues that he has, these balance issues that he has. I think he has a power, and I think he is pretty explosive, and I think there's something there where it can be used where like he can actually maybe win some bigger fights in the future. But in order for him to do that, I think he needs these things to be corrected. You know, I know people has been trolling Rolly all week about his greatness. I'm trying to have a real conversation right now. Like, I think this is a mismatch because Tank is this leagues above. It shouldn't have been Anthony Yigit or Jackson Marinas and then go straight to Tank. You know what I'm saying? Or a Lomachenko or some of the other guys. You know, I think there's levels, and I think Tank not only is explosive and he's powerful as well, but he knows how to use his advantages. I think with Tank may have some defensive flaws. You know, sometimes he takes a lot of punches. I know Mario Barrios was scoring a lot of rounds against him. I know Leo Santa Cruz connected with a lot of shots before that knockout. That was a good fight. So I know that he has some defensive holes in his game. I know like a guy like Isaac Cruz was able to get low and get up on his chest and make things uncomfortable for Tank. But all of these things that I've seen in Tank's game that, you know, fighters had some success against him, I don't think Rolly is capable of really exploiting any of these holes, these flaws that Tank has. I just don't think he has it. I think what Rolly needs to do in order to win this fight, or just to even have a chance, is to make the fight really physical. Like towards the end of the Yigit fight, where he started to really, you know, get physical and become a brawler and turn some of that street fighter into a real fight. But when you're fighting a level of a boxer, of a Tank, who is very technically sound, that knows how to control distance himself. He can press fire, he can walk you down, but knows how to take those quick half step backs and counter, you know, and land those combinations as you're coming straight in, which Rolly does. I don't know if Rolly has anything that he can use outside of having a puncher's chance against someone that's proven to be very durable. You know, like Tank, say what you want about him, but he's a very durable fighter. He's very durable. You know, he's not just, you know, like taking hits and, you know, he take the hits sometimes to dish them back. He took hits from Barrios in order to get in range to land them straight left hands, you know, those lead left hands. That guy is small, but he can take the punches. And I'm not sure Rolly, in fact, I think Tank is not only going to just dominate Rolly Romero, but I think he's going to buzz him as early as the first round. You know, I think Tank is going to at least buzz him and early, very quick, like before the first round is over. I think Tank is going to counter him with a left hand that's going to buzz him, you know, if not drop him. And I think this fight, I think it really depends on how Tank wants to win. If he wants to carry the fight for some rounds. I said this just last week about Benavidez and Lemieux, and I thought that fight was kind of a mismatch there, but I think this fight is way more of a mismatch than that fight was. I think if Tank chooses to carry Rolly, he will, if he chooses to. But if he wants to really walk in there and destroy him, outbox him and beat him, or just go straight up, just go to war with him, I think he wins either way. Again, like I said about Benavidez, you know, if Benavidez chooses to just go to war with Lemieux, I think he wins regardless. It'd be more dangerous, it'd be more risky, but he's going to win either way. And I feel the same about Tank. I say if Tank wants to go to war with Rolly as early as the first round and trade and exchange and bully him, he's going to win that way. It'll be more risky because, you know, Rolly is a street fighter, you know, / you know, brawler. Like, so that's what he does, but I don't think he's that great at doing that. I think Tank is better at him in any way that he chooses to fight him. Tank beats him in any way he chooses to fight him, you know? So I see Tank getting the stoppage. I really don't think it's going to go past 6 rounds. But again, I think it really depends on how Tank wants to carry the fight. I think it's going to be a short night. You know, I really don't. I'm not even going to say 6. I really think this is a 4-rounder. You know, it really depends on how Tank wants to carry the fight. Big mismatch to me, huge mismatch, and Tank got it. You know, I know like Kambosos and Tio, for example. I know Tio was a heavy favorite to win, but I think in this fight, this is even more of a mismatch than that fight. You know, and you know George won the fight and everything, but this would be a huge, huge one of the biggest upsets in recent years if Tank were to lose to Rolly Romero. You know, just because of Tank's ability. And I think the fighters that Tank has already beaten are better than Rolly, you know, and would beat Rolly. You know, I think Barrios would beat Rolly. You know, if you want to really watch and see what Rolly can do, I would suggest the Yigit fight because Yigit is southpaw. But also watch the Jackson Marinas fight if you want to see flaws in his game. That's the fight to watch. If you want to see him being outboxed, that's the one to watch. It's a recent fight, and you know you can see Rolly at times getting picked apart by someone that had the better setups. You know, had the better timing. You know, had the better counters, set the better traps. I think Tank is going to be able to do all of that, but Tank is super powerful and explosive. So again, Tank wins by knockout. It really depends on where he wants to go, what round he wants to do. If he wants to do it early, he can do it early within a couple rounds. If he wants to drag it maybe to 6th round or whatever, 6th, 7th round, he can do that too. But I say Tank wins this one by domination. All right. Anyway, that's my breakdown of the fight, man. Tank beats him any way he wants to. And it would be clear and it would be dominant. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, share the video to your friends, your social media, and I'll see you guys on the next one. In fact, I'll see you guys this weekend when I'm covering the fight. Peace.